Welcome, I'm glad you're here with me. Go ahead and get your paper and pencils and let's begin. To get the lay of the land here, quarter the paper just visually with your pencil. We'll start by looking at her posture, the way she's tilted, the way her head tilts back. Sketch in the angles that you see. Her profile is looking up and to the right, so you can mark that as well. Use your pencil to measure the bottom of the chin to the edge of the eye, and from the edge of the eye to the top of the head. You can see the bottom part is a little bit longer than the top part because it looks like she's singing out loud. You can also see the top of her head to the bottom of her chin is about the same distance as the tip of her nose to the back of her head. So we'll mark all those as well. Lightly sketch in everything you see, just a really light outline of the hair, the eyes, the nose. And if you look at a diagonal, the same diagonal as our eyes, the bottom of the ear is about where the top of the mouth is. Continue using your pencil to measure and look at proportions vertically, horizontally, comparing one thing to another. On the vertical axis, you can see the edge of the mouth lines up with the edge of the nose. So that's how you know to draw that in. You're so brave, artist. I'm glad you're doing this with me. What I'm doing with my pencil here is getting the sort of curves and lines of her face. I'm not actually marking the photo, which kind of looks like I am. I am actually just moving my pencil along to get the feel for the curves of her chin and her nose and her eyes. Before we move on to her body, use the edge of the pencil to mark some shadows very lightly. Great. Now add a little bit of a darker shadow under the chin, under her mouth, her nose, where her eyes are. As you continue filling in shadows, you can consider where the light is coming from, which is almost directly above, maybe a little bit to the left also. Yay, I think it's time to move on to the body. So we'll do the same thing that we did with the head, which is outline it, get the proportions correct, measuring by comparison of one area of the body to the other. The top of the shoulder to the bottom of the sleeve is the same proportion as the top of the head to the bottom of the chin. So we can mark our drawing the same by measuring the head and then marking the sleeve. When you want to practice more realism, I highly recommend picking a photo or an image that has high contrast. So these old black and white photos are really good for that. If you do pick a colored image, yeah, the high contrast of shadows and light striking the figure or image or subject, that really helps practice proportions and getting a more realistic look for your drawing or painting. I'm going to slow it down here. So you see the edge of her shirt. If you go vertically straight up, it's just below the edge of her eye on the right side. Here is a clever little tool that engineers use. I think it was originally made for people out at sea, any sort of nautical ship experience. So it's a way to correctly measure proportions. And my drawing is almost one-to-one with this. It's a little bit bigger than one-to-one, so I adjusted it thusly. And you use the small end to measure the photo or whatever original drawing you do, and then the longer fingers end to make sure you get the proportions right. So to double check everything, you can use this, all day to make sure that the arm lengths are correct, the head to the toe is correct, that the width of the body is correct, anything you'd like. Very handy tool, and thank you, Mom, for this. Now that you have it fully sketched, take your blender stick and blend it all, and then finish it up with some erasing any of the highlights and adding any more dark black spots. You may want to add some final touches with a dark pencil. But there you go. Congratulations, you did it!